Also, if you're not aware, this is the BSG LAN. We are currently at Central Michigan University in Michigan, if that wasn't apparent by the name of the university. I am Galligation, and to my right is...
I'm Wingnut.
Thank you for joining us this morning. If you joined us last night, thank you for joining us then. If you're just joining us now for the first time, thanks for joining us. We appreciate your viewership. And we are going to go ahead and get right into this game.
This is going to be another pretty good PvP. Looks like there's only one Zerg left in the tournament, so we're going to be largely seeing Protoss and Terran, and hopefully our Zerg buddy can hang on to keep the race disparity nice and even.
That's right. If you like your underdogs, the race to be cheering for is Zerg.
So anyone in chat, go ahead and give us a 1 if you want Paladin to win, or a 2 if you want eNtitY to win.
And in the top right, we have our blue Protoss player playing very well in the tournament thus far, winning 2 games prior to this one. It is Paladin.
Woohoo, Paladin. And in the lower right, we've got our red hero today, Protoss as well. His name is eNtitY. Again, this is going to be another 4-player map. It's a Blizzard map, so it does not have forced cross spawns, even though I would consider almost every spawn on this map a cross spawn, since they're all so far away.
Yeah.
Both players going to put down their pylons to begin. I'm just really excited for StarCraft today, Nick.
There's going to be a lot of great StarCraft. If day one was any indication of the quality and caliber of game that we'll be seeing today, we are in for a real treat. They played their hearts out last night. We have a lot of returning players today because they've just been continuing to play well in the tournament. So hopefully we'll continue to see great games coming out of them.
We did really see a lot of really well played, really tight, really close games where the balance really shifted back and forth, and it wasn't always the obvious player that looked like they were ahead at any given point that won. There was a lot of good positioning battles, a lot of good micro battles. It'll be interesting to see what we get today. Looks like eNtitY's going to be rallying his probe right to the gas to build his first gas. Paladin's got the same going down.
Teams that need more members.
eNtitY's going to be putting down his second gas as well, so is Paladin, so it looks like we're going to be seeing some early tech play from these guys, both staying on one base. eNtitY's going to go ahead and rally some probes, and are we going to see the 2 probes in each gas play that eNtitY decided to take yesterday that allowed him to get his Stargate and Blink up, or is he going to go with 3? Looks like he's going to go with 2 in each. Paladin's going to be putting on that Cyber Core. He's also going with 2 probes in each geyser. Both players have the probes running through their mains, scouting out everything there is to be seen.
Which isn't much at this point.
Gateway's Cybernetics Core, of course, the big variation in builds is going to come out after the Cyber Core. I expect to either see... Honestly, I think Twilight Council or Stargate. I don't think the Robo is really going to be an early factor, judging on these players and how they played yesterday.
Yep.
We'll be chrono boosting out that first Zealot for Paladin with the Stalker following. Looks like he's going to maybe want to put on a little pressure and at least keep that scout probe of eNtitY from coming back, which looks like he's going to come up into the third and maybe put down a pylon.
Paladin's warp gate did get started about 10 seconds earlier than eNtitY's, but we have yet to see a forward pylon from either player, so we'll see how that turns out.
Paladin's probe is actually just hanging out in eNtitY's base, and eNtitY's just happy to have him just visiting. Oh, and the Stalker shows up, and
comes
the Stalker
and says wants to dance.
Just not so happy about that. It's like eNtitY's still thinking about putting down his proxy pylon in the third base. Probe's just slowly inching forward to see what he can do. It's like Stargate coming down for Paladin, so Stargate is going to be the tech of choice for our Paladin buddy, as well as a second gateway. 3 gates now coming from eNtitY with chrono boosting of the warp gates. Looks like eNtitY's going to want to put on a little bit of early pressure. Paladin's also well guarding his ramp with the 2 Zealot, 1 Stalker party that will not allow any probes to come up and see what's going on. The Stalker's going to come up and take a peek, and he's going to meet
some opposition. He's going to walk back and wait for his buddies to warp in.
Yeah, it's like he does not want to go there. The pylon of eNtitY is now up. And there's 2 more Stalkers moving across, so eNtitY's going to really want to put the pressure on here. His Warp Gate is just about to finishing now.
We do see Phoenix coming out of Paladin. He's chrono boosting that out. It looks like he's going to try and do some harass, and now we see a Forge going down.
Paladin does have a sentry, so he will be able to hold off this push at least for a moment until he's only going to have 1 force field on that, but if he warps in more, he will be able to do that. But those Phoenix are going to be maybe not quite as useful as he would hope, as there's going to be a lot of units coming right up his ramp here real quick.
And he doesn't have a whole lot of an answer to this. He does manage to section off that 1 Stalker, and that will go down, but he's going to lose a Zealot because of that great micro by eNtitY.
Of course, the big difference in Heart of the Swarm is you cannot warp up to higher ground if you have a pile on low ground, which really kind of makes these types of pushes a little bit more difficult because you can't put that pylon down there. Those Phoenix are showing up to be quite a helpful force in this party, but it looks like the number of Stalkers keeps rising for eNtitY, and it's going to be a real issue for him.
Paladin pulling back into his own bag. The Stalker, or the Sentry falls.
Those Phoenix, he still has not lost any of those Phoenix, now up to 4, and looks like he's going to push eNtitY back. He just keeps lifting up those Stalkers. Phoenix do a significant amount of damage, so if you can limit the number of units that are shooting at you, but Paladin just really needs to get up some actual forces besides these Phoenix, because that game is only going to hold out for so long.
He's got some great micro keeping all those Phoenix alive, and eNtitY seems to be focusing down the Stalkers, but now the Phoenix have run out of Stalkers to cover for them, and they are getting out of there.
Unfortunately, the Phoenix in that last battle were away from the lifted Stalkers, so they weren't able to do any damage. 2 more Stalkers are going to fall. Looks like he still has yet to lose a Phoenix, still at 4. So he's doing some great micro. Looks like 1 Phoenix finally does go down. He's going to pull the probes as he feels he's in a great state of desperation. Warping another Zealot to try and zone these Stalkers, but it looks like it's going to be trouble for him.
Phoenix kind of just going around, doing some flybys, not really doing a whole lot else. Saving that energy, apparently.
eNtitY now behind this, putting down a Twilight Council, probably to get up some blink, as he probably feels pretty confident in this push. The Mothership Core is coming up for Paladin.
And being chrono boosted, because he wants that defensive structure out.
Problem is, it's not going to pop out with enough energy for a Photon Overcharge, so it's only going to be able to attack, which isn't going to be all that useful against these Stalkers, as they can take it down pretty quick. Another Phoenix pops out. Phoenix still doing some great micro.
You see Zealots now coming from eNtitY to reinforce these Stalkers. And the Mothership Core does come forward to do some damage to the Zealots.
Paladin's doing a great job of keeping the Stalkers as a limited part of this attack by lifting them up. It looks like he's out of energy on those Phoenix. As he lifts those up, obviously the Mothership Core can do damage to the Zealots and not get shot at by it.
He's got to get out of there. He's going to lose it. And he got a little overzealous. It does go down.
This looks like it's going to be GG for Mr. Paladin. It's just a matter of how long he wants to hold out. But it looks like eNtitY's forces are going to be a little too much for him to handle.
Dark Shrine is about half done for eNtitY back in his home base, so we should be seeing those entering the composition for him on this push.
That would certainly seal the deal. Looks like we've got a lot of micro coming out of eNtitY trying to hold those Zealots back, but now that he has Zealots of his own, those Stalkers are going to easily help them to take out those 2 Zealots well. And looks like eNtitY's going to be putting down a Manor Nexus in Paladin's base, encouraging the GG. That's another thing I wanted to talk about, is it looks like we have had just a great number of very Manor players in this tournament. Everyone has just been very awesome, very nice, and it's been a pleasure to cast these guys. So eNtitY is going to go up 1-0. If you look at the score screen, I mean, that game was really close, and Paladin did just a really great job of holding eNtitY back. I'm really surprised that it took eNtitY so long to get up there, but it's really because of the micro of those Phoenix.
Yeah, eNtitY was focusing down the Stalkers, which is definitely the right move there. You know, the Phoenix only have so much energy to work off of, and then they're kind of done. Whereas the Stalkers are the more offensive of the units. So taking those down frees him up a little bit to get into that base, but the pressure was just unrelenting from eNtitY. He decided he was just going to go for it, straight up push, and with Paladin trying to attack into some air, he didn't really have a whole lot to deal with it.
Yeah, those Phoenix are useful, but you really have to have some units on the ground to help you out with them. So we're going to ask Paladin what his map choice is.
It's Belshir.